You're in the right place. Hello, I'm Dan Harris.
Hi, and I'm Claudia Köstler.
You're over here, over there. Welcome to Over Here, Over There, a global conversation about how we see others and others see us. I'm Dan Harris. I'm going to hand this over to my podcast colleague, Claudia Köstler, senior editor at the Süddeutsche Zeitung in Germany, who will tell us in a moment what's on her mind this week. But first, as a reminder, you can follow us on social media and contact us via our website at overhereoverthere.org. We'd love to hear from you. And please don't forget to subscribe and tell everyone about the podcast. And now, without further ado, over to Claudia.
Thank you, Dan. Welcome back to a new episode of Over Here, Over There. Today, I'm talking about a topic that not only makes people turn up their noses or light up their eyes, but is also making waves in politics and society. The legalization of cannabis in Germany. So come on, sit down comfortably, grab a coffee or a tea or whatever you legally take to chill, and let's dive in. And I'll promise I'll answer your most burning question. Before we talk about the here and now, let's take a little trip back in time. Cannabis hasn't just been an issue in Germany since yesterday. Back in the 1920s, hemp was already known as a raw material for clothing, ropes and paper. But then came the days of the hemp prohibition, which reached its peak in the 1970s when the German government decided to criminalize cannabis completely. Since then, the rule has been, if you smoke weed illegally. And you couldn't get a decent hemp cloth anywhere anymore either. Firstly, because even the plant without the active agent was banned. And whatever cloth was left of former times was under threat, because youngsters raided the kitchen cabinets of their grannies in order to find a hemp throw they could light up. Of course with no effect, apart from a family row. But times, they are a-changing. The medical use of cannabis was legalized in 2017 in Germany, and a lot has happened since. The wave of legalization has finally reached politics. The coalition of SPD, Greens and FDP decided to legalize cannabis for recreational use, a bold move that sparked a lot of debate. And the partial legalization of cannabis has been in force since the 1st of April 2024. This means that possession of small quantities of the drug will no longer be prosecuted. So why this change? On the one hand, the economic factor plays a role. The black market was flourishing and the state was not seeing any tax revenue. Legalization could bring billions into the state coffers. On the other hand, there is the health aspect. Controlled distribution could ensure the quality of the products and improve the protection of minors. So let's get down to the hard facts. What exactly is now legal in Germany? The law does not provide for a complete but rather a controlled release of the drug. Adults are permitted to possess up to 25 grams of cannabis for personal use in public spaces. Consumers can also cultivate up to 3 female plants in their own home and store up to 50 grams for their own use. Harvesting is only permitted for personal use. You cannot pass it on to others. Seeds, plants and harvested hashish and marijuana must be protected against theft and access by children, for example with lockable cupboards and rooms. The acquisition, possession and cultivation of cannabis remain completely prohibited for minors. Passing it on to children and young people is a criminal offense. Consumption in the immediate presence of under 18 years olds is prohibited, as is consumption in pedestrianized areas from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Smoking weed is also prohibited in playgrounds, schools, children's and youth facilities, sports facilities, and within sight of them. If you don't grow it yourself, you only have one other option as a legal source of supply, to get it through a so-called cannabis social club. Even those who only smoke weed occasionally and no longer want to buy from dealers have to join a cannabis club, because you can't get the drug from another club member, because passing it on and selling it to young people and adults is still prohibited. So anyone who would have imagined a shopping experience modeled on the Dutch and Canadian system will be disappointed. There will be no shops selling cannabis in Germany. Biscuits and sweets with cannabis extracts will also remain banned, as will cakes, cookies, oils with cannabis and mixing them with tobacco, alcohol or other flavorings. You can imagine that this has sparked quite some debate in Germany. But how does society feel about the issue? According to surveys, a majority of Germans are in favor of the legalization of cannabis. Younger people in particular are in favor, while older generations are more skeptical. The main argument put forward by opponents is concern about an increase in consumption and the possible health consequences. Proponents, on the other hand, argue that decriminalization will relieve the burden on consumers and the justice system. In summary, one can say that the legalization of cannabis in Germany is still a hot potato. It bears opportunities and risks. The restrictive drug policy that has been pursued for decades has not been successful at all, and for this reason alone, it may make sense to take a new path. If people who smoke weed anyway can buy their cannabis legally, this will hopefully weaken the black market. But there are numerous problems. How to enforce the law control is a nightmare for the police. For example, do you really think they have the time and manpower to check the distance between a weed smoker and a kindergarten entrance? But one thing is certain. The new law has the potential to change our society in the long term. Personally, I don't think that people are consuming more or less because of this law. Everything remains the same, at least up until now. But there is a chance that the illegal market will be shaken up. But I know what you've been thinking the whole time. Does she smoke cannabis? Okay, I'll be honest with you. I will continue to chill without weed. I hope you had fun and were able to pick up some interesting facts. Stay curious and critical and healthy. Hear you soon over the next episode. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Claudia. Thanks to you out there for listening. If you have feedback on today's or previous episodes, please let us know on social media and our website, overhereoverthere.org, where you can also find our Patreon page. Please don't forget to subscribe and tell good people like yourselves about the podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening to Over Here, Over There.